tonight we're gonna try butternut squash with pumpkin seed granola. So it's a soup. I've never done it before, but why not discover how we do it? So I am gonna use the cooking blender, and I do love this cooking blender because I don't have to pre-cook my vegetables, and that's fantastic. And I'm just using the recipe book that came with the cooking blender. Why not? We get a farm box. I had a butternut squash. I don't know what to do with it, so we're gonna make soup. Okay, so it starts with 2.5 cups of water. So I'm just gonna pour my 2.5 cups of water right in there. And then we've got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, which I've actually already did just to make it easy for myself. I didn't do too much ahead of time, don't worry. You're definitely following along with me. A teaspoon of salt. So we'll grab a little adjustable measuring spoon. And I definitely love these because they do fit in my little spice jars. So I've got a teaspoon of salt. And next we've got, it looks like some spices. So I think this is gonna be a savory type dish. And we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I use both measuring spoons, by the way. I love these because it's easy to find, but I also really like to use these because I don't like to clean the other one all the time. So it's just what works for me. I'm a big fan of having multiple sets of things, and these all clip together, this whole set, and I like that too. So we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna put that aside because I'm gonna need that later. And a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, which I'm also gonna need later because we're gonna make this soup. And then while the soup is going, we're gonna make a granola to go, a pumpkin seed granola to go on top of it. Again, my first time doing both, so that's why we call it our Coan Kitchen Discoveries. We're discovering. So now it says 3 cups of butternut squash, peeled, cut into chunks. So I did peel it. We have an easy peeler that took care of that. But 3 cups I'm always confused about. And let me tell you my fun little device. This digital kitchen scale I actually really enjoyed because 3 cups can be a lot of different things depending on how I chopped the squash. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put my whole blender on my kitchen scale. I'm gonna change my unit to milliliters. I'm gonna hit tare. Okay, so now I'm at 0 and I need 750. So I'm just gonna grab, I love these little silicone prep bowls, so easy. I'm just gonna start putting some of these in here because again, I don't know what 3 cups looks like. So that's over 700. This was filled to the top and this is actually 3 cups down here. So you can kind of see the difference of what 3 cups in here look like and what 750 milliliters looks like. So that's why I like the kitchen scale because there's just some ingredients that I'm not so sure about. So this is 716, close enough for me. I would have been really off if I had gone by just a 3 cup measurement. So I've got my carrots and they've already peeled. So we're gonna go ahead and chunk them with, which knife do I want to use? Use this one. I just got my Pampered Chef knives in and I couldn't be happier with them. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of put these in chunks. You can see I'm not dicing. You're probably dying at how I use a knife. I'm not in any way, shape, or form a professional chef, which is another reason I love Pampered Chef because you don't have to be a professional to make this happen. So I'm just adding, loosely chunking my carrots. Again, my mom is probably dying at how I'm doing this, but you know what? It gets it done. And next we have a 1/2 onion. So let me go ahead and chunk that. I've got my little 1/2 onion right here that I've already taken the skin off of. And again, just kind of loosely chunking as I put it right in the blender. Okay, next I've got my 2 garlic cloves peeled. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw those in, just the whole clove peeled. And a 1/4 cup of dried apple. So I actually cut an apple earlier and put it in my air fryer, my Pampered Chef air fryer, and put it for about 3 hours on dehydrate. And I've got this beautiful dried apple here. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of that in. It's gonna be for flavor, but I also wanna save some for my granola. I'm gonna put it on the soup setting. and I'm gonna hit go. And I'm probably gonna have to pause it depending on how loud it gets. But I want you to see that what it does is it's got a timed grinder. So the heating plate is gonna start heating my food, and then it's gonna grind and heat and grind and heat and grind. So we're gonna let that go for just a bit while I transition to the granola. That's gonna be our topping. And we're gonna start with a tablespoon of oil that we're gonna heat up. The nonstick cookware, love, love, love. I love how easily it stores because this part doesn't have to stick out. So the handle just kind of goes on like that. And then when you want to release it, there's a little button and it releases. This is lifetime warranty. The handles are 5 years, so they sell the replacement. If you have any problem with the handle, get it replaced. Just easy peasy. Okay, so we are going to heat up. Again, you can just kind of see how this does its thing, and I'm fix it and forget it. I'm going to forget about it. And I need about a tablespoon of oil. So I'm going to grab, because I'm going to need my other tablespoon for honey. So I'm going to use this one for my oil. Actually, I think I need another one for brown sugar. So even with my extra tablespoons, I still run into trouble. That's just what happens. So I need a half a cup of oats. Got my oat bag, and these are another set that I actually really like. They all clip together. I can show you my set. They all clip together. It's just nice to have. So we're gonna do a half a cup of oats. And then with the oats is gonna be cinnamon and ginger. Just gonna whisk this quickly, my cinnamon, my gingers with my oats. And I'm gonna put this in my oil. Kind of make sure the oil is everywhere. And we're gonna cook this for a bit. And we are just gonna stir this occasionally for a few minutes while all of this heats up. Okay, so it's been 4 minutes that we have been working on our oats, and I've got this beautiful cinnamon ginger aroma going on. I love this teak corner spoon because it is the spoon, but it's also the corner, and I love that it's getting in all the edges. So that's what's going on here. Next, we are going to put this aside for a moment. I'm just gonna put it in my little classic batter bowl. You can see my blender is still going. I haven't touched it. It's doing its thing. It's at 151 degrees, the heated plate, so it's cooking as we're going. Just fantastic. Okay, so next we're gonna heat up some honey and let it do its thing. I love when I've set it to do something and Patrick comes in the kitchen and doesn't realize that I've set it. And he gets startled, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. Okay, this is not the best way for measuring honey. It's just what I'm doing right now. If it's any more, this is just a tablespoon, but when it's a bigger amount, I actually really like to use the mini measure-all. It's a whole lot less mess, but again, we're just working with what we've got. Okay, so we've got a tablespoon of honey. We're gonna add a tablespoon of brown sugar. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the burner back on just a low heat, and we're kind of mixing our honey and our brown sugar. We're gonna add our oats back in, first of all. And I thought, didn't this take pumpkin seeds? Why is it not having me do that? And then it says, and the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so our oats are back in there. Now we have those dried apples that I had told you about that I was saving. So I'm gonna throw those in here. And again, I just dehydrated these myself. And now we have a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds. So I'm just gonna throw that in there and kind of swoosh this around a little bit. And then I'll move it into another container to cool down. So we're gonna have butternut squash soup, and we're gonna sprinkle this beautiful fresh pumpkin seed granola with dried apple in it, and that's gonna be dinner. So I think what I'm gonna do is just film when this is done, and you'll see the final product. Oh, I have a kiddo that came home. He's ready for dinner. Okay, so our blender has just beeped. It has told us that it's done with its process. If you can see how creamy this is. Actually, I don't need to take this lid off quite yet. I like that it sings for me and tells me when there's a seal. So my next step, because this is a creamy soup, is I've got a half a cup of heavy cream that I'm going to pour right through our little vented lid. And I'm going to put this right back on. Make sure I get that tightened. And then it has me just pulse for a few seconds. And that's it. That is our soup. Easy, easy peasy. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Let me see if I can you see how creamy? If you guys remember, these were just whole chunked butternut squash and carrots and onion. And because it heats, and I think it went up to 200 degrees at one point during the cooking process, it just roasts and cooks everything for me. And I've got this beautiful, just trying to get a easy way to show you just how creamy our soup is. I'm so very excited about it. One sec. Okay, so I've got a bowl. We're just gonna put a little bit in a bowl just to finish this off. I don't see my ladle. I should be using my ladle right now, but you know, sometimes you just use what you've got. So we've got it in our bowl. Remember, we've got our pumpkin seed granola, which, because it hardened, now I've got some problems. Enter the mix and chop. We're just gonna take this right in here, chop it right up. So helpful. I love the mix and chop. And I might add some goat cheese on top or some Parmesan, not sure. I love all of it. So here we've got our soup. We've got our fresh granola. You can see how thick that is. And that's dinner. You guys literally saw, I threw everything in. I didn't touch it again until it beeped and told me to add the cream. It's that easy. We made our own fresh granola. Your families will love you. So that's it. I'm gonna have some dinner.